My man, Charles Kirkland Jr., Charlie Kirk, Charles Kirkland, he is back once again and he is mad at affirmative action. He is bringing back some vintage racism, some old school Rush Limbaugh 1990s on the radio, truckers driving around being angry at black people racism. He would make Rush Limbaugh very proud. He would be in tears currently if he was alive. So let's go ahead and look at what is making my man so angry.
You really have to wonder. In fact, if we would have said 3 weeks ago, Blake, if we would have said that Joy Reid and Michelle Obama and Sheila Jackson Lee and Ketanji Brown Jackson were affirmative action picks, we would have been called the racist. But now they're coming out and they're saying it for us. They're coming out and they're saying,
that tongue roll.
I'm only here because of affirmative action. Yeah, we know. You do not have the brain processing power to otherwise be taken really seriously. You had to go steal a white person's slot to go be taken somewhat seriously. Play cut 52.
There we go. Hold up real quick. Before we get to the cut, it is just like a classic example. This is what I meant when Charlie Kirk is really bringing back the racist greatest hits. Now, I know nobody who watches the Charlie Kirk show cares about this or, because in their eyes, they go, oh my God, you're calling me a racist? But yeah, the idea is that by them simply existing in the role that I'm going to prove to you that they did work very hard for, that automatically you are taking a white person's job. That is a white person's job. And what it really means is that's a white man's job. You're taking jobs from the white race. And this is like the South Park meme. It was years ago when because to a point they still do this too when it comes to Mexicans, where they would be like, oh, look at these lazy Mexicans taking our jobs, which makes no sense, because if they were so lazy, then why are they taking your jobs? It's the South Park meme. They look at theirs. Which is Charlie Kirk's point here, is that Ketanji Brown Jackson and all of these black women, all of these dark-skinned individuals are taking jobs and opportunity away from, in his mind, the rightful owner, which is white people, particularly white men. So let's go ahead and play this clip that Charlie Kirk has baked up for us.
But I rise today as a clear recipient of affirmative action, and particularly in higher education. I may have been admitted on affirmative action, both in terms of being a woman and a woman of color, but I can declare that I did not graduate on affirmative action. This is my personal story.
I hear because of action affirmative. She can't even say that. We know. It's very obvious to us that you were not smart enough to be able to get in on your own.
So let's talk about these people's academic achievements, and what Sheila Brown was talking about is when she initially got into college, into university, it was through the affirmative action process, because especially back when she was going to college, if you were somebody who were dark-skinned, you could very well be skipped over, and affirmative action helped prevent such instances. Now, also keep in mind what she said. She might have got in through affirmative action, but you don't graduate college or university or reach academic achievements by just simply being black, right? You don't go into college and they say, oh, you're black, don't worry. You don't have to take this test. You're black, okay? Also, here's your free degree. You're black. Here you go. Just take it. So let's go ahead and take a look at Sheila Brown's academic achievements. I got it up right here. So she earned her bachelor's in political science from Yale. She got her Juris Doctor, JD, from Virginia School of Law. You don't get that by being, just simply by being black. Now, keep in mind, Charlie Kirk, who is mocking somebody else's brain processing power, is a community college dropout. A community college dropout is telling somebody with a JD that they don't have the brain processing power. It makes you wonder why he's saying that.
I couldn't make it on my own, so I needed to take opportunities from someone more deserving. You know, this is how arrogant Joy.
And when deserving, he already gave the game away when he said deserving. He means white people.
Reid and Ketanji Brown Jackson and Michelle Obama and Sheila Jackson Lee are. They're so narcissistic, they think this is persuasive. They think we're like, oh, of course. That's why we need affirmative action, because you have impressed us with your brilliance. Of course. Oh no, imagine the world without Joy Reid. Imagine the world without Sheila Jackson Lee or Michelle Obama or Ketanji Brown Jackson. They think this is persuasive. They think, as they kind of now reveal that I'm only here because of anti-white, anti-Asian forced discrimination.
Now, while we're at it, let's go ahead and talk about Ketanji Brown's record and Charlie Kirk's once more. So Ketanji Brown Jackson graduated from Harvard with a bachelor degree, magna cum laude. Then got her Juris Doctor JD from Harvard Law School, cum laude. Charlie Kirk, community college dropout. Community college dropout. So with that being said, let's go ahead and continue on to the next clip that I have right here.
And by the way, none of them believe in affirmative action. You're trying to tell me if Sheila Jackson Lee, ladies and gentlemen, welcome aboard Flight 781 with nonstop service from Houston, Texas to Washington Reagan National Airport. I want to tell you that we have Sheila Jackson Lee on board, and in the spirit of affirmative action, we have Ramon and Cadillac are your two pilots. They've never flown before.
Of course, you go for Cadillac. Yeah, and because they are black, of course, they have the name Cadillac.
Sheila Jackson Lee would be like, forget it, I'm off this plane. She would jump like, I ain't flying here.
Yeah, and that is also a terrible, terrible impersonation of a black woman's accent, which she probably knows, but, you know, he has to do this for his audience because when he makes that voice, they get an absolute chub down there.
They don't believe it. Yeah, Andrew. But Ramon and Cadillac did stay at a Holiday Inn Express last night, and they're black. Who cares? I don't care the color of the skin of the pilot. I care, are you there because you earned it?
Oh, really? See, and this is what I mean when we're talking about earning things. So let's go ahead and do this again with Ketanji Brown Jackson of the Supreme Court versus Amy Coney Barrett of the Supreme Court. So in terms of their academic achievements, both of them were pretty good, right? Amy Coney Barrett ranked first in her class, but we're talking about earning the Supreme Court role here. So you have to have experience in order to, I would say, earn that position. It is a very prestigious position that comes with a lot of power. So you should have to earn that role. And to earn it, part of that is being experienced. Let's look at that. Barrett spent her entire career in academia until 2017. Jackson spent her time as a law clerk in 1996 to a judge of the U.S. District Court of Massachusetts. She worked her way up until she got where she is now. Over 2 decades of experience. Starting in 1996, she's been in the system, working within the legal realm when I was born. She's been doing it since I was born. 27 years. 27 years of experience. Almost 3 decades of experience, really, when you look at it now. And meanwhile, Coney Barrett just got propped up by Donald Trump in 2017, and a few years later, she is a part of the Supreme Court. So when we're talking about earning it, who actually earned it? And then again, I don't know if Charlie Kirk even cares about earning things, because this was a guy who was riding Donald Trump's nutsack. And look, let's be honest here. Donald Trump hasn't earned anything. The dude was born a multimillionaire, billionaire, and has never earned anything in his entire life. Never earned anything in his entire life. And Charlie Kirk is funded by mega donors. He didn't build anything from the ground up. He wasn't out here in the trenches. He is a guy that met mega donors and propped up his venture when he was young. That is what happened. On his own Wikipedia page, I'll read directly from it. Let me pull it over here. At a 2012 Republican National Convention, Kirk met Foster Frace, a prominent Republican donor, and persuaded him to finance the organization. As that is before he met, that is after he met Bill Montgomery, who was the guy mentoring him. So he already has somebody in his ear talking to him and helping him along the way. Charlie Kirk is literally propped up by mega donors, literally propped up by millions and millions of dollars. He isn't some dude that grinded and pulled up his own bootstraps. People very rarely in the world solo carry their way to the top. This is just bootstrap theory, which is what people use, especially in America, to make it easy to hate on people who are in poverty and justify their conditions. It justifies paying them so little. It justifies keeping people in generational poverty. It keeps people from having a lack of health care because you can say, oh, well, I mean, maybe they should have just worked hard. And this is what happens when you have bootstrap theory propped up and told to you by a guy who had his bootstraps pulled up by the tunes of millions of dollars from people he isn't even related to. At least Donald Trump was related to his money. He was getting old money from his father. Charlie Kirk met some dudes who were like, yeah, I'll put you on one. And boom, Charlie Kirk. Same with Ben Shapiro and all of these goons. They're all propped up by these millionaire/billionaire donors who give them tons of money to tell other people, you gotta work hard solo. You gotta pull yourself up out of bootstraps. Me, I'm gonna get another $1 million in funding from my buddy over here who went to this Ivy League college, which I'm also about to rail against. So let's just go ahead and see if he has anything else to say.
My favorite word in the English language is earn. We should not give people things they did not earn.
Which is why Charlie Kirk shouldn't really be in the position he is at now, because he didn't earn his position there. He got it through being funded by crazy lunatic millionaires.
If you can't play in the game, then find another game to play. America needs to be a country that pursues excellence, not rewards mediocrity to appease the clamorings of an activist class.
Which sums up Charlie Kirk just well. He is literally somebody who is propped up to do the bidding of the conservative activist class. An absolute joke from Charlie Kirk, but unfortunately the joke isn't all that funny. It's like an Amy Schumer joke.